Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Review, episode 99. We're getting very close now. And what have we got this time?
Well, we're off on another island adventure, the Isle of Arran this time, for one of my favourite bandwagons or trends in whiskey.
Oh dear.
Special guest star, Charlie the
I
Cat.
didn't think he was going to do that. Come on, Charlie, we have to keep things moving here. Come on, boy. You carry on, Dave.
Sure. As I say, normally the phrase jumping on the bandwagon has negative connotations, but when it comes to whiskey, a lot of distilleries lately are putting out no-age statement cask strength blends, and I'm very much fond of that trend. Arran got on board a while back. This is batch number 4. It's by no means the most recent batch. I think we're up to at least batch number 5 in our local supplier. But let's do it. Batch number 4, released a year or two ago, has to say.
Yes, indeed. I'll just reach past the cat here. Arran, I don't think we've ever had a bad Arran. They're a young distillery. I'm sorry, Charlie, this is just... There we go. Young distillery, but they've started extremely strong and they've just carried on in that stead, I think. They really are, while not a hugely distinct whiskey, they're a very, very, very well-rounded and solid whiskey. Often said that they make a Speyside style despite sitting on an island. An island very much like Islay itself. There couldn't be anything Islay-like about their whiskey. It doesn't even have a particularly marine influence, if you ask me. But that doesn't mean it's not interesting. It's a very, very good whiskey, I think. And this, as a cask strength release, there's a lot to recommend it, and I'll go into why that is a little bit further on. But we'll have a wee look first.
53.2%, reasonably high strength there, but not astonishingly. So there's some older whiskey in there, I believe.
Well, the thing is, it's all older whiskey because they've been good enough to put a age statement on this, which is sort of what puts this immediately above, in my mind, a lot of the recent trendy, and in many cases very, very good, we've looked at a lot of exceptional ones, cask strength releases. They're mostly no age statement. This one is a full 12 years old, says so right on the bottle. So who knows exactly why they've been able to be so, I don't know, generous with this. I guess they're just very well... maybe they have a lot of 12-year-old stock. Maybe they're just trying to sort of put their best foot forward with their release. But the fact that this has a 12 on it is quite different to a lot of other cask strength stuff. Not to imply that it's the only one. I think Springbank does it might be 10 or 12, probably 12, I think, cask strength, which is also exceptional, if you ask me, but very much in the minority. But good to see anyway. But that will explain why the strength is a wee bit lower than we've been seeing on some of these other ones.
So yeah, it's September 2014 bottling, so by no means new, but still recent enough to be of interest. Quite a subdued nose, not a lot of potent volatile alcohol coming off there.
It's a very bourbon matured nose. I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to tell us whether it has been in one type of cask or another. It's not a single cask, of course, so who can really say? I think there's probably at least a dominance of bourbon in there, because what we're getting is an awful lot of really nice caramel and coconut. Not a lot of spice, and what there is quite mellow and warming. There's nutmeg in here,
Toffee, coconut, gentle spices, some say jasmine or lavender, those kind of culinary, savoury florals,
and no small amount of ginger as well, sweet ginger. Very, very inviting on the nose, and there's really not a hell of a lot of prickle either. It's quite a calm one, as you might expect for something a wee bit older than some of the others we've been tasting. So I'll have a wee dive at full strength, see what happens. Ooh, and that doesn't do too much harm at all.
Very mellow.
At that full strength, not only is it mellow, it's really, really nice and buttery. Like a sweet, sugary butter to me. What are you getting?
There's a strong, almost salty caramel tang to it. Not a peaty tang or a maritime tang. More like that kind of slight sharpness on the tongue, which is probably due in small part to the high alcohol strength, but it's not that kind of a tang. It's more of the intensity of the flavour. It's a lashing of this sweet but also oddly savoury, rather umami and just a little bit briny character. I'm going to dive in again and see if I can get more of that and articulate it further.
I think that, to me, expresses in just a very slightly salted but mostly sweetened butter. It's really, really good butterscotch, I suppose you could call it.
Yeah, they've sprinkled some sea salt onto Werther's original to pick an analogy right off the top of my head.
That's one of the more stunningly approachable and stunningly good pellets we've gotten off or at least I've gotten off a cask strength release in some time. It really is just gentle enough that these incredibly oily, buttery flavours are coming through in great, great number. But I'll put a wee splash in to bring it down to something a bit more
custard.
normal.
That's one thing. A fresh, rich, eggy custard.
Really no peat to speak of, which is just that much more interesting for
if there is any
island distillery.
Arran have, in my recollection, never gone too much into peat. Sure, they have peated releases, but it's never been a hallmark or a staple.
They do their Macri more for the people that want that, and I think we've reviewed Macri more ourselves. It's a fine whiskey, but I think you can tell it's really not their forte. This style of Arran, the normal style, I find much more exciting.
Ooh. Okay, the addition of water has brought out some strong oranges, cloves, quite a lot more citrus, and a more intense spiciness.
That's gone very, very fruity now. That's, I think, made it more of a Speyside-esque whiskey. But, boy, that is really, really good. The intensity of some of the fruits and some of the sweet, lush flavours is really, really keen on this one. And no one of them is particularly overpowering. Putting that water in, as I expected, has somewhat cut down that lovely buttery mouthfeel before.
It's, for me, almost entirely replaced that with the fruit and spices.
Which is a bit of a shame. They can't really exist together, but that's often the way, putting water in a cask strength whiskey. Oh, we should say no colour, no filtration on this one, as I believe with all Arran's whiskies as far as I'm aware, but certainly with this one. And I just thought of the perfect tasting note for the previous incarnation of this. If you have ever done the thing where you throw a can of condensed milk in a pressure cooker and turn it into caramel, as it's referred to, so there's some chemical change involved. It's a terribly dangerous practice. I've seen windows broken and forks eject themselves from the cans and try to open the stuff, but there is a mechanism of turning a can of condensed milk into a can of what's referred to as caramel. It changes somehow, and that right there is the taste of this, undiluted. It's kind of like a butterscotchy, buttery, milky thing. It's sort of its own taste, really. Experiment with care. There's directions on that. But yeah, this phenomenal before, but also phenomenal with the water.
Yeah. It's ginger, cloves, and whole oranges are the dominant flavours for me now. It's all like the orange fruit and the rind all together. Good mixture of sweet.
Definitely the zest. It's all coming together with this one. This is one, as I think you probably tell by the level of the bottle. I've been enjoying this quite a lot, and all the more so because it's barely any more expensive than the no age statement releases that we've been trying. It's exceptionally well priced, and quite exceptionally available as well. This, of course, batch 4. They're on to batch 5, if not 6 now. Batch 4 you'd only find if there was unsold stock around, as this one was. And unless this is an outlier, unless this one was particularly good, I would look out for batch anything, really. Because if it was even, if it was 80% as good as this one, it would still be a sound recommendation. But no, as far as recommendations go, my score on this one, it's got to be a 93. It's a really, really sound whiskey. What do you think?
That's a 90 for me. Very, very good. Very versatile as well. This caters to a lot of different tastes and palates, I think, and it delivers completely different flavours depending on whether you have it neat, or you can water it down considerably for a range of other different tastes along the way.
Yeah. I think the best way to describe this one would be just it's probably of the ones we've tasted, it's one of the most complete cask strength expressions. It really does bring everything. It's got the power and the potency, but it's also got the complexity, roundness, and the consummate qualities of a fully mature malt whisky. And the 12-year-old stamp on it to prove it. So, well done, Arran, for this one, I think. I think a lot of people that like their cask strength whisky but are not fans of the no-age statement sort of wave that we're living under at the moment, and I know there are a lot of those people there, and they all have their own individual arguments as to why they think that. This, I think, really is the whisky for them. So I'd say go and have a look at it, would be my recommendation there. But anyway, we will go and have a rummage for what we're going to do for episode 100. If only we had something terribly old and special. We don't, but we'll find something that's at least special for you all then. In the meantime, Slandra, we will be right back.